So I've been getting a lot of questions lately online. I appreciate them. I appreciate them coming in. One of the biggest ones was, what's the secret to success? What's the secret to a successful life? I guess that's the reason anybody would go to a site like this, would follow any self-help program, would follow any mental discipline, is to try to get this happy life, right? The answer is really pretty simple. It starts with where you aim. You have to decide exactly, what does that happy life mean to you? What does a successful life mean to you? Because what I think is success may not be what you do, and that's fine. It's not that we have to have the exact same goals, but you have to have in your mind a very clear vision of where you want to be. So what I suggest to a lot of people is writing out. I mean, I find great power in actual word, in actual writing out, committing it to paper. Why? Because it makes it more real. You know, if you kind of keep your goals to yourself and you don't really articulate them even to yourself, then it's easy to avoid accountability. When you commit something to paper, when you share it with people, then you know when you're either on the course or you're not, right? And that's really what it's about, is aiming. It's about having the proper aim and then sticking to that no matter what. You know, it's like you can't drive a car without a steering wheel. So how are you going to guide your life when you don't even know where you're trying to go? And as an example, we just had this past weekend a second degree red sash test, and our tests are absolutely brutal. I mean, they're 5, 6 hours. You have a meditative aspect, which for this particular rank is 2.5 hours, no movement at all. If you do, you fail. Then you've got the physical test, which is combinations, form. There's china, there's weapon defense, there's grappling, there's sparring against fresh partners who are often at least your rank or higher, where they wouldn't be allowed to be at the test. And they're fresh, and you're 5 hours in, and it's not fair, and you get beat up, and that's how it is for everybody. And the idea is not to necessarily, even though it sounds like it, it's not just hazing, it's not just being mean, it's not just bullying people. What you're learning through that test is that you're stronger than you think you are. You know, so many times people think at the first sign of adversity, the first struggle, the first challenge, you know, they fold. They think, oh, this is too hard. I'm not that good. I'm not good enough to do this. That goal's too high. You know, what you learn when you get up, when it's easier to stay down, is that you actually have the strength within you to do it, you know, and to be the person you want to be when you want to be this person. You know, there's a reason we've had 9 people make it to Black Sash and 26, 27 years of the school being open. You know, but it's not just that. You know, there's certain people who may never achieve a certain rank, who will, you know, they get to a physical plateau and that's where they are. But that doesn't mean that actually practicing isn't beneficial. It's not necessarily the goal. If you have the goal of rank in mind, then it's going to be, then you're aiming improperly. What you've got to do is your goal, that aim that I'm talking about, is being the kind of person you say you're going to be, and that can only come by being clearly defined and clearly having sorted this out. You know, and that's really what it is. Being able to look yourself in the mirror and say that no matter what, I am going to do what I say I'm going to do. You know, if you have people in your life that are pulling you away from that, then you need to get those people out of your life. If you have people in your life that are encouraging, then you should stick to it. And don't worry about anything that takes you off your path. You know, don't worry about what somebody else is doing. You know, don't get into your little tribes and everything and be disrespectful to people that don't like what you like. Let them live their lives. You focus on yours. You know, you are Absolutely. If everybody did this, it would be a better world. And I would suggest that you are, the world to an extent, and you start building your own community of people that are like-minded around you, and they can actually start helping you become the person you want to be, and they'll hold you accountable. And that's what the dojo does, and that's what this community does. Because we can sit here and we see each other by having a tangible, actual goal in mind, and then other people being aware of it, and other people genuinely wanting to see you succeed. They can see when you deviate, and you can see yourself when you deviate. So you're not concerned with fitting into crowds. You're not going to stop every time you get a black eye. You're not going to stop every time you've got a little bit of a leg cramp and, oh, it helps so much if I moved. No, that's being a quitter. Everything is a fight. It's always a fight. You've got to decide what's worth fighting for. And the only way to answer that is to know yourself and to know what your values are. That's why I think it's so important. Like I said, you write it down, you make these goals, and you put them where they're in your face all the time. If it's on your phone, if it's on a post-it note on your bathroom mirror, you have to see it. And then you can do a balancing act. There's people that struggle. We had a student who struggled with a drinking drug problem for years. But he stuck around. It wasn't awful, but it was enough that he would sometimes miss 4 or 5 days of practice. And he started getting higher and higher in rank. And he eventually kind of topped out. And the thing that was holding him back was the alcohol, right? And so he had to make a decision, and we had a long talk about it. It's like, what would you rather be? Either one is fine. Would you rather be a drinker? Would you rather be this? Would you rather be, somebody who misses commitments? Would you rather be somebody who does exactly what they say they're going to do? And if you can answer that question, and only if you can answer that question, that's when putting the other stuff aside doesn't become so hard. It's possible, but only if you know what it is you want to be. And you will do whatever it takes to get there if you find that value, if it means enough to you. If you give somebody the right why, they can deal with almost any how. If you talk to any of our students the first time they come in the door, and if you told them, and this is why we don't allow beginners into the test, if we told you there will come a time, possibly, if you make it, that you're going to have to practice for 5 hours straight and get beat up by people who have been here for years and get to meditate, they would say, I could never do this. And that's a common reaction, but you will learn that when you're ready, the test will come. And your tests in your regular life happen all the time. When you get stuck at work, when you have issues with your family, issues with your boyfriend, with your girlfriend, how do you respond? How do you respond? Do you get thrown off track all the time? Are you somebody people can depend on? And that's really, what do you want to be? You have to know. It's not something that I can tell you. It's not something your family can tell you. Each path, everybody's path is within themselves. It's something you find out for yourself. That's why the self-discovery is so important. And that's the secret to success. If you really find out who you are, who you want to be, then you won't let anything knock you off that course. And that's it. So keep meditating, keep practicing, make your lists, figure out what it is you want, get a clear picture, and go for it. And you'll make it. And that's it.